Isn't it odd how in rooms full of strangers, my most tender feelings writhe and bear the fruit of screaming? Put out your hand. Isn't there an ashtray suddenly there, beside the bed? And someone you love comes in the room and asks, wouldn't you like the eggs a little differently today? And when they come, they are just plain scrambled, and the warm weather is holding.
what you wanna do. You bring out that woman in me, yeah. Oh, the way I'm wanting you, the way I'm needing you. You got the power over me. All my mind belongs to you. All my body belongs to you. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Oh, love me. Love me. Love me. Right now, baby. Why don't you pull me close to you? Well, good loving, good loving. I know, baby. Oh, yours will see me through. Right now, I need you, baby. Your loving is so good to me, yeah. Why won't you take me right now? Right now, I want you, baby. You bring out the woman in me, yeah. All the way I'm wanting you, the way I'm needing you. You got the power over me. All my mind belongs to you. All my body belongs to you. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Oh, love me. Take me, I'm yours. Take me, I am yours, yeah. Take me, I'm yours, baby. Take me, I am yours. Oh, love me right now. I need you, baby. Do anything that you feel you wanna do now. Oh, take me, why, baby? Why can't you take me right now, right now? I need you, yeah. Take me, I'm yours, hey, yours, baby. I'm yours alone.
It's a kind of magic. It's a kind of magic. A kind of magic. One dream, one soul, one prize, one goal, one golden glance of what should be. It's a kind of magic. One child of light that shows the way. No mortal man can win this day. It's a kind of magic.
All right, everybody, we're going to get started. If you want to find a comfortable seat, settle in. My name is Laura Henriksen. I'm the program director here at the Poetry Project, and I'm so thrilled to be with you all this evening for readings by Chia-Lun Chang and Anna Božičević. Before we get into tonight's program, I have just a few quick space reminders and updates. There are 2 all-gender restrooms located upstairs and 2 more here on the first floor. If you need access to those first floor restrooms, just find me or anyone on staff tonight and we can open that door for you. I'm so pleased to be with you this evening for this beautiful reading, and we have a lot of wonderful readings coming up in the next few weeks that I'd love to see you here for again. So on Wednesday, we'll be gathering to remember dear friend of the Poetry Project, Kenward Elmsley. Would love to have you with us for that. On Sunday, we'll have a big celebration of the poet Kavafi here in the parish hall, and then next week on Wednesday we will welcome Gary, Indiana to celebrate the republication, of Do Everything in the Dark. So a lot of really exciting stuff coming up in the next few weeks. Would love to see you back here for that. Those are all of the updates from me. I'm really, really delighted to turn it over now. We have a special guest host for this evening, the wonderful poet Morgan Vo.
Hello. Thanks to the volunteers and to Ayaz and Lix for tech, and to Laura for hosting, and all of the staff at the project. I'm really excited to be here with Chia-Lun and Anna tonight. So I'm going to introduce Chia-Lun, and we won't take a break, and we'll move right into Anna. Reading Chia-Lun Chang's debut collection, Pre-Sky B, I try to follow each line closely. The crunchy flicker of their kaleidoscopic images, the surprise in their spurious music. I try to follow it to see if I could perceive the moments when they had actually crossed the hidden threshold into the treacherous country of sound. Pre-Sky B describes the world of sound as an international territory of grave paradox, where she has been simultaneously forbidden and forced to step foot. Chia-Lun writes, "Father commanded, when you leave, close the door without making a sound. Sounds grate my blood." And later, "The government makes me lie if I want a visa. Thus my answer, oozing from the polygraph, is nimble." It's a world of tension and fear. How to know when to do what? Chia-Lun wonders, when's the moment for outside groups to clap? When I think of how to survive in the world Prescribee presents, I depend upon how Chia-Lun's conception of sound draws a distinction between the sound of obedience that registers quietly and the ungainly noises that instead annoy, drag, and punish figures of privilege and authority. What registers is English, patriarchy, workers' visas, dutiful lies. What drags annoyingly are funny names, foreign accents, grinding teeth, flamed legs, and scars. I'm sorry, Chia-Lun writes, I'm becoming a dishwasher right away. It's not that on one side of that distinction you'll find pain, on the other grace. Knowing where you stand, how you are heard or not heard, resented or ignored, simply tells you how you can expect to struggle. She writes, "You're recognized, you have not fought. You're Oriental Mandarin, I'm Typhoon." I have always admired the angry verve that seems like the heart of Chia-Lun's poetry, and how she inspires us in moments of staunchness and confrontation. She tells us, "When I negotiate, pages I wrote are seared by liquid, the sound I made erupting, as there's a bone stuck in my tongue." But she's deft. She's deft with how she doles out fury, and her speakers defy flatness, live vulnerably, bear confusion and pain, even in moments of poignant clarity. One speaker's lover attempts to comfort her. He says, "It's okay, everything's going to be fine." With his deep voice, he gently calls my name. Both of us know it is a lie, but we live in this lie, And we need the lie, as when you go swimming, you need water to move through. We rely on lies so we can keep going. Chia-Lun shows us how some of our most fundamental lies, in the viciousness of their greed, fracture the horizon of sound and undermine the potential of utterance, of existing on the plane of language. I have the same name as nobody, she writes. Yet in her poetry is a vehement strength, a commitment to invention and insistence on living beyond the lie. As she informs us, after all, you cannot wake up on your way to a coma. Please welcome Chia-Lun Chang to the Poetry Project.
Hi. On the way here, I was thinking, actually, this is not my first time reading here as a featured poet. A long time ago when I was just graduated from my MFA, and I think one of the poem was Sick, and then Crystal Languel, my boss at the time, she said, we're trying to find somebody to read, and if you have time, you can read. And I was like, I didn't expect things would come so easily. I was like, are you sure? Because I'm not sure if I'm ready, but that was how magical Poetry Project was, and that reading really helped me a lot when I applied for my visa. Throughout years, I feel like I was living on the edge, and coming to Poetry Project, the program feels like really welcoming and a very nice place for the after school and really meet other cool poets. A lot of time I feel maybe I'm not cool enough, but here I am, I guess. Thank you so much for Morgan, Laura, and everybody from Poetry Project. I'm really happy to be alive and be here. An alien well tanned. The last known Japanese soldier was born on an island that was depleted under many policies. Stationed on the northernmost island, Weatherly, born gifted as a tropical leaf and colonized loyalist, lost once between troops and the cagey July. In 31 years of searching, lonesomeness soothes, far shoreline raid. The last known Japanese soldier was not born as a volunteer to any recorded geography, war maps, hardships, or Takasago volunteers. Died on 30th November 1944, resurrected on 18 December 1974. Born as a wild Richard, stayed as a Japanese for 50 years, he pounds on ocean currents, transferring in between dynasties. This body has never qualified to be compensated fully. He was forced to survive in the winds, afraid of truthful bait, obey his hunch. When this body was suited as an advanced weapon, he enlisted in hopes of living partly as a rightful citizen. On this land, there are many names and no name. This island is depleted from its names. This island is used to listening to another style of calling when another newcomer lands, from far and near, from claims and fews. Not today. The island stays censored and strategically ambiguous. Stationed on the northernmost arena, he recalled, I calmly stay alive there. I hadn't lost my sense of existence yet. It's the sense of existence about our upbringing, the position when we space out, the ways we cope with nightmares. The heartbeat we hear when there's no sound, when there's no moon. How do we count days? How does our culture fall apart during the war? How do we exist when we don't exist in written papers, mother tongues? When we can absorb multiple fidelity? The northernmost, middlemost, and southernmost were all in similar poverty. His isolation is opposed to numbness, a decimation to enmity. Born gifted as a catcher, to ensnare a pheasant, a phrase, plaintive chicanery. Some vernaculars have no benefit, they send you to the battlefield only. When you are good at cheating you back, you're good at withstanding support, not good at passing a life that demands you to fight it out. You're good at downfall, not good at die greedy as a breather. Lost ones, creeping along the fear of capture and fidelity to others, he kept on trapping in one misjudgment. To quell his panic, he lay low, all of the assumptions coming from his tongue tip. Lava, they were remote. Planes entreated the sky, adhering to an oncoming world that hasn't arrived. Where should we look now? In 31 years of searching only to find out what you believe in doesn't trust you back, insisting on speaking his soldier's tongue, other story awaits in despair. The last known Japanese soldier is a nationalist only briefly. His wife has had many names forgotten, adhering to his history. Her pen redies 4 years later. How many times can one lost holdout die in the gap of apogee? An alien better named. On my land, my name is so foreign, fickle, Phoebe. In the past 3 generations, we repatriate from some mothers we have never met. Our dictionary pours dissonance out. Always around by choppy corrections, our desire becomes a temporal, identity turning spotty. We talk so wrong, awkward, and attached to the landscape. My father doesn't believe in shamanism. When I was born, he paid a fortune teller to name me. I often ask him to repeat the story. What else could be me? In 5 options based on the time I was born, including one meaning broken jet, my father chose a boy's name. My name contains 2 characters. The first character, Jia, means home. The second character, Lun, has 3 meanings. It means siren ribbon, silk thread for fishing, decree from the emperor. The pronunciation is synced with gallon, Chia-Lun. My father's last name is Zhang. The literal meaning is the major word of, quote, a piece of paper. My mother's last name is Shi. The literal meaning is stone. The pronunciation sounds similar to the number 10, 4, and death. If I adopt my mother's last name, I will be Shi Jia-Lun. I will be both physical and sonic form of 10 gallons. Incapable of carrying out their last name, history doesn't contain woman. My mother finds every opportunity to remind me, you can be anything you want to be, in which I reply, I only want to be a boy, beautiful. Many years later, with nutrition in my speech, by which I reply, Mom, we were born to be brave and losing our names. I told myself to be an exotic monster, an alien better tamed, an alien better named. Am I ordinary enough? The ink from colonizers irks our pronunciation, our elevation, but always remember how flexible we have learned to endure ambitious space and slow calendar. Prescribe, verb, to officially tell someone to use, quote, a medicine, therapy, diet, as a remedy or treatment. Prescribe, verb, to make an authoritative ruling, to subject to legal prescription, to write before. Prescribe, noun, to witness unbearable negligence and make no sound, to stay stately, to please music next to a post before a rookie serves in the military, to suppress prediction when a citizen receives the order. The accent flows. Please bear with me. I'm sorry that you are forced to be surrounded by my voice. My lips aren't pleased where they are supposed to be. The R sound eats its way out. Standing here, I annoy you, drag you, punish you. I'm sorry. I was once your parent who suffered escaping to the Wonderland disorder. Once your uncle-in-law who died alone in an open closet. Once your pet who whined on a cryptic front door. Twice your wallpaper that peeled away through a silent, early morning. Your mailbox has received thousands of correctly spelled and typed news from the world. Sometimes I was your blackboard where a teeth-threatening system grew. Once I was you who sucked your mom's nipples. I'm sorry, I'm become a dishwasher right away. If one day you recall on a whim, please remember we have only interact in script. My tongue makes too many oceans. Maybe it will drown next time. My tonsils swallow a bag of stones on the muddy path. Always floating between terminals, my accent never takes off since my throat has not applied for a passport. It is too thick to pass through your ears. Extracted wild cypress. They were retreaters trimming their putrid roots. Root in, root out, ruthless people as flying orchards swarming duckweed. They lodged at the corner of the room, in the pound, mourning, diffusing. Here are natives adopted, tracking in the early summer rain, for years discontinued their journey to mount the base of the nation, turn into flawless furniture. Their stems hope to be the bone of another family. The wild Formosa cypresses remember their red-brown barks, their aromatic nature, how time weaves their grains and hasolates. They were retreaters trimming their putrid roots. Here are locals mystifying the roots. With this music and the sound, I feel we are in like the back door of a movie theater and secretly reading censored books that was not allowed to play in the theater. Upon disrespectful advice, you can't talk to me like that. You can't sit at this table. I was born without consent. You're not allowed to talk to me like I understand, as you can't sit next to a mannequin. This palatable style of mine never wishes to hide. I always know to gesture along a heavy river, communicate while battling without noticing the clock, consume lightly and behave, vocalize the possibility of ailment, rowdy hair, brittle skeleton, a chameleon type of sexuality. Foreign bodies are dangerous. Still, I exist without consent. What a surprise! Too many metaphors. You can react. Something's wrong with components of my operation. I welcome all conversations when they are flousy, powdery, fair. A spark of me reflects in your premonition. My teeth keep grinding at night. The teeth keep grinding at night. My dentist suggests getting a night guard, or my mouth will be too flat to chew. How am I going to stop sweating without deodorant? Why didn't you inform me before you stand up to leave the conversation? Can I kick the cough away after binging a bag of lozenges? I've been trying to find a sincere way to express I never liked your art, but I don't mind spending time together. Teach me, how can my teeth stop against my will while I'm unconscious? I have told you my most notorious secret. Mother Hunter. Even triangled worlds are reflected from half of the mirror. Parents are even equally, one and each. Some girls' long hair were hidden by mother, not even. She escapes from the reflection. Why ever she stops running, street lights avoid her trembling legs. Why ever she bikes down from the hill, I gear up to catch up. Go to grab that ponytail. I have the same name as nobody. They want to start over. A family meets fresh means, flash branches. Grandpa stole a baby from the hospital. She stopped running since. Volcano means plum rain. Hell means hot spring. She built a streetlight so that I can replace the baby. Pretty please, pretty enough to erase. This year I walked into Grandpa's house. Mother said, it's not here. Direction is earthquaking. Father is a reflection of borrowing goods from neighbors. Father is half of Grandpa. Their language is reflected by me, not even at school. Mother produces me, then hit. Mom, you are in this house. Come up or I will erase, stark, steal, delete your childhood body. Now we are even. Naive American boy. Apropos, packing for a space tour, frantically winking his glitchy goggles from an expensive telescope. A naive American boy has been constructing an intangible ladder. Another expat has booked his ticket to Paris. Somewhere an immigrant has sworn by beating waves, invoking an easy summer gig. Zone X blast off. Steeping in the bathtub, I can't distinguish whether the lights sharpened or my sunburns drowned. Will Amazon cede its name to the jungle, or is a concession agreement for light years away? Can NASA keep up with space is for everyone. Today in America, space is an exclusive crisis for landlords. Prescribe. They feed us stuff. Description. They equal trace. Club, size. Man and Merc. Black ocean paddlers. Adventures. Swallows. War losers. Curation claimers. Equal has a meaning, but not within old time. Feed means take. Initial, seize. Us is me and many preachy face. Peeled skin, knives. Stuff is salt, a sound, seeds, odors, the peel. This peel is small. We take them every day while running under the rock. We know certain odors from doctors are terribly wrong because animals sense Mars car coming. We have never been to the basement or attic. We raise our heads, looking at each other who open their eyes wide, not wide enough to be seen. Turn off sensualness. They eat people alive and replace eating with magic. Replace magic with music without lyrics. Replace music with 3 TV channels. We focus on TV and pretend not see butchers coming. They feed us stuff, we stay quiet and continue the treatment. The doctor says we ain't mad woman, we ain't crazily addicted. Thanks to the new technology, a pill only costs 87 cents. Go back to your country, which I would very much wish. Not a day goes by when I don't dream of my family living in the States and sleeping in my arms. Yet none of them believe in white supremacy as I do. I have always believed in white people, begging for this destiny. All pale men express emotion at first sight. Golden heroes save the universe, describe everything as war. Murder with wavy hair and clean gloves. Mental illness wear tattoos and glasses. Defeat taboo as the greatest enemy. Ah, angels singing and they are all white. My sister's chest is in pain. She can't breathe this air. She eats dishes boiled in plastic bags. We have digested too much white trash. Her face is almost like mine, yet I'm whiter. Mother, I yell dramatically, as if I were a character from Hollywood movies. Staged in a little town church, I confess by the dim spotlight on my yellow sand peach face. Someday we'll become whites. We'll drink milk instead of soybeans. Mayo on chicken and beer will burst out from our breasts. They are creamy, rich, and juicy. We're Taiwanese, her voice firm. My mother empties the knife for me. So I made a book trailer for the book, and then I'm gonna read the first 4 stanzas of the poem and end it with the trailer. This poem is called "Let Me Lie Down Like a Song." The anthem of this island has budded, yet or not yet. It determines if I can share with people. I always enjoy handwriting in a planner, inserting my fingers into preparation, inviting all possibilities from a sketch. I often see myself thrusting into soft clouds, hallucinating. Even relying on the solidified ground is more comfortable than weaponizing my sloppy vigilance. In fact, my planner never exists. This country has no schedule. Clouds are intangible and hollowed.
Blowing
Perhaps I'm brainwashed by my own creation. I never told anyone that I'm a coward and can't count the moment when I wish to say, oh yeah? But I'm too puny. Count the times when I allow my anger to deluge. Count the number of awake, asleep people or compatriots in limbo. I will assassinate for many reasons, especially for one future. But no one should be coerced to prove I belong. In aerial and artificial history, I request to stand still like any Taiwanese mountain. Let me lay down like a song that has not been heard.
Another hand for Chia-Lun. So now we welcome Anna Božičević. In her new book, New Life, Anna Božičević writes lines that press down on my mind with a light touch, light as the falling pollen, as funny and pervasive as botanical sperm. At the same time, they squeeze the space around my heart, my real heart, with a worldly weight, the bloat of life and experience, love and desire, ambition, boredom, concentration, pull. Is it programmatic, she asks, or morally basic to say, there's a fucked up glow inside me my friends don't really seem to understand. Don't they see her? People talk about things being windows to the soul. New Life acts as more of a stethoscope, breathed until warm, held firm to the chest. We do experience the interior, but through a long, tasty kiss with the exterior. We don't see the soul, we hear it, mysteriously, kicking and pumping in the dark, amplified bass-heavy through the wet muscle of a coursing body. Anna writes, my soul, overgrown and metastasized, from too little pruning or control, rises to the front of my skin like a swimmer to the rippling surface. Something we witness when reading New Life is how excitable the soul is, how ready to be lit up with sounds, words, stories. She writes, when you had a wet dream, the fairies stole your DNA and made a clone of you, only a mermaid. Sometimes you catch your thoughts inside of you like little toes, anemones. Just admit it, you love that word. But I think Anna is, as any leader of a seance should be, cautious about her engagement of the soul, approaching humbly and with a wise appreciation for the potential implications of actually touching the unknown. She tells us, I stood outside love's door, afraid of what I'd find. A howling rainy void, 1,000 clowns, the it from the phrase, it's raining. We want to be connected with the mysteries that animate us. We even want to animate them in our own way, through the adventures of our lives, the loves and writings and other risks. But we also need to protect our mysteries, to avoid denuding them with, quote, the merciless glare of my story that blinds me, bumps into me, end quote. Part of why I trust Anna as my guide is how she listens, makes space for the hearing. She calls out, tell me, moonbeams, little fists smacking the window, which way to turn and in what language to say, what thing and to whom. Please welcome Anna Božičević to the Poetry Project.
Thank you, Morgan. One of the amazing things about the Poetry Project are the introductions. So I was like, what are they going to say about me? So, New Life. It's really cool to be here reading from this book. I can't believe it's real. It's kind of small, which I really love. It's like pocket-sized. So, this first poem is called Birthday. If the sky is such a cliche, why is it falling? If the tree is such a cliche, why is it dying? If soul is such a cliche, where is it hiding? If love is such a cliche, why isn't there enough to go around? For my part, I can't get enough of the sky. For my part, I can't wait for those leaves to come back. For my party, I'm inviting the clown Love. For my birthday, I want a cake revealing the color of my soul. So this was like from a tweet somebody wrote, you shouldn't use cliches in poetry like soul, sky, and tree. So of course my first impulse is I'm going to write a poem that uses all of those cliches. It turned out to be my favorite poem in the book, so interpret that as you will. So this is called New Life. I think about it every day, to just leave and start life among some other people in a little town in the middle of America. I would tell them my name was whatever, think of some random name and say it. I'd work in a diner, put out the pie, coffee, and burgers at the counter, the echo of great cities where everyone I ever loved, everyone who ever hurt me, anyone I ever hurted wouldn't reach. Lost among fields and mountains and highways, I wouldn't have anything much. Unknown and safe, in witness protection from crimes of the heart. Outside the merciless glare of my story that blinds me, bumps into me, always spinning, so I see the back of her head and her face all at once. The one that tells me, you failed to live me, sang off tune like a shitty orchestra, and that's why no one loves you enough to stay. Shut up, Anna, I would say. The name's Linda. So the point with that poem was to write a poem that gets like really kind of intense and then it ends in a punchline. This is called I Feel Like. I feel like an old vampire in the middle of war, still made to feel like a child by the snow. I feel like we all feel like that. Who's that? Eloquent silence of everyone I ever loved, this cloudy Friday evening, spring but still cold, a smattering of new buds. Who's that? Swaddled in the uneasy atmosphere, in silence, no chatter or pleasant surprise, the lusty rush of a weekend with the beloved. Who's that? Sprouting now out of the cottony silence, with silky whips still hanging from their little chops. Who is it straining to pop out of the hardwood rings of time into the cool air, like there's another cool world on the other side of this one, worth pushing through to, or maybe we're already there. Is that why we shake? Spike from Buffy read this poem on the internet. It was like the best experience of my life. He goes, is that why we shake? I felt something. I felt a certain type of way. This is called I Stood Outside. So this is after a poem by John Wieners. I stood outside love's door, afraid of what I'd find. A howling rainy void, 1,000 clowns, the it from the phrase, it's raining. The rain sounds like a bunch of eyelashes running around. I tell tiny jokes to myself in front of love's door. I'm afraid I will find no one there, an empty cafe. Well, that actually sounds nice. I'll sit down and have a cappuccino and one cigarette and read those ancient newspapers back to back. I stand outside love's door, praying for a soft landscape to walk into, worn marble staircase, some kind words, that's all. Once I held love as a thing, and then it came alive in my hands. It bit, flowed like water. Like the thing that you think you're holding, but it's not really that state. It's not in a state that can be held. Soft poem. I came, I slept, I came, I looked up. The sky was the blue of a baby powder bottle from a country that no longer exists. The softest breeze touched the honeysuckle perimeter. I was feeling a little nice current in my body. Nicola, are you with me? Gods of thunder, ancestors, if I called out to you, would you answer in this land? I guess that's what I was thinking, is if I address, like I spent some time in my home country and discovered that under the little hill where the Christian church now stands was like a temple to Diana, and then underneath that is like a Mithraic temple. And I often wonder if you call to those gods in the United States, if they would still hear you. Is there some kind of like connection between meadows on different continents? This is called Everyday People. Everyday people do remarkable things. They print new organs, then insert them under the heart, perform flawless gymnastics routines. They enter small metal pods and glide through the atmosphere to the airless space beyond. They compose symphonies. Everyday people do impossible things. Bury their child on a warm spring day, then make a fresh pot of coffee. Feel pity and even forgiveness for the person who wronged them stupidly, cruelly. Walk to the top of a mountain and swim under ice, and still everyday people commit unspeakable crimes. They beat the bodies of elders who need their care, tear children from parents and put walls between them, wipe out whole species, level cities to nothing, put poison in rivers, and on the trees they killed write beautiful poems. I guess I had to do that. It's like if I'm going to say about how everyone else is terrible, then... I guess there is something terrible about printing words on paper. But it's also so beautiful. This is called Island. For once in my life, I got a bit of money for writing a poem about New York. I thought of all the things I might do with my money. It would pay for a trip home to the as yet undiscovered blue island of the soul. I could throw a lavish party and invite all my friends, pay all my bills, but no, instead, I got bed bugs. I looked into the sheath where the money had been. The empty place laughed. Where's your island? Lol. I smiled. I'm smiling. The room's quiet and the bugs are all in heaven. For sure, this day was one for the memoirs. Tomorrow I will paint the room blue and put the bed back in. It has to look good for when the love of my life steps in through its door and our whole world changes. But there's time. Tonight I sleep in the hammock and tell my jokes to the cat. I'm drinking beer. This poem sucks because I'm so happy. So that's another thing they say, like you can't write a good poem that's happy. You can write from like a place of joy, which I profoundly disagree with. So that's my new challenge. I don't know, I guess this was 5 years ago. I wrote myself, you know how like in magazines they have like 10 things that every woman after 35 should know. So I wrote this to myself at 40, which was 5 years ago, but let's see what I wrote. 5 things at 40. You are not crazy, it's the patriarchy. You're not a loser, it's the capitalism. You are not old, time's not really a thing. You're not alone, I'm here. You're made of stars, that's fucking cool. And I guess it still kind of works. I have to remind myself. This is actually a little bit about this neighborhood. My heart is an old majordomo. My heart is a drum majorette, a toy soldier with a broken arm falling into the sewer. What all could happen? Riding the paper boat Hope out to the estuary, will we find the spring of youth in the unassuming fountain on the corner of St. Third, or condense and fade like taxicab breath? In whose sprawled out body did I make my home? Down whose blood am I rushing? The city is a heart in the middle of which there's a garden. Meet me there like the very first time, before the Apple store made us feel naked. Let's find the grail in an old sports trophy on a dying villain's shelf. When I awake from the coma, I want you to be there laughing in pajamas. I'll be the one with the bouquet from the underworld and the toy heart, sipping on a rain soda, reading the Rain newspaper. That's kind of the plot of Fisher King, actually. And this is the future. If somebody from the future tried to talk to me in the street, I wouldn't even know because I was listening to music. I guess I was imagining a situation like, what's that Bruce Willis movie where he like comes from monkeys? 12 Monkeys. So I was thinking like if somebody came up to me and was like, I'm from the future, I have a, important news. I'd be like, what? And there would be no plot. The world wouldn't be saved. Okay, well, I'll read this one because it's kind of serious, and I think I'm supposed to read it sometimes. It's called Depression. Is it programmatic or morally basic to say there's a fucked up glow inside me my friends don't really seem to understand? Don't they see her? Commercials show a somber dog or a cloud following you around, but she's a poet, an energy. She looks like me and you, like our daughter, a future I couldn't pull off, giggling on a swing. She looks like my mentor, my mother, everyone I ever failed, come to forgive me for what I wish they could help me with. What suits her is to go around the dead, to bend my body, tell me I'll never love again, to leave me suddenly good and free, then come back like the bad results from the polls, like the first hard rain of the fall. And yeah, she can be kind of beautiful in the mirror, and I love to be in her body when I'm lucid dreaming. I know why she wants to break through to this side. She brings with her galactic winds, and sometimes I just want to ask her, what is it? What is so sad? And can the living help rather than be haunted? How can I help? Am I missing something? The most important thing? Some key to healing? Maybe her name? Yeah. Well, here's some funny love poems. Some funny love poems. I put bare feet in the fog, washed the sheets in ink, my heart in the fire for you. I don't think I was ever really a woman before whoever found who, just an old high top abandoned at midnight on the steps of your castle. When you like a thing of mine, it's like being touched by a ghost in a dream of whoever's haunting who. Since you came on my heart, I can't do anything. Wherever I go, I keep hearing this violin. That's how I know it's serious. I see your face in clouds and in stucco. Car alarms are bleeding your name. I stayed home and danced with a potato that looks like you. My body is haunting my soul. The clear thread of light across that tree is talking to me, and my soul, overgrown and metastasized from too little pruning or control, rises to the front of my skin like a swimmer to the rippling surface, smells the tree, sinks to it. Ever since I was little, I let my soul have free rein inside me. Whoever tries to order it eventually goes away. Do you know what it's like to have a wild garden inside you? Unassailably, to watch it grow whole spires of thorn to the sun, and meadows as far as the eye can see. I watched my soul resurrect grandfather, show me the stars. Even you fell in love with her. It couldn't have been me. And how I wish her mission ended there. How I wish it stopped before she wears me out. An old Eastern European suit left in the dusty department store window, faded from all the years of talking to the sun. Do you have any idea the size of my soul, baby? Thank you. It's supposed to be funny. Okay. Person. A few more. I want to be cool more than I want you to like me. A disco ball wearing a crown of thorns. Seaweed waving off the side of the underwater subway. We started out as wood and morphed into silver in time. It's 6 a.m. and I'm ready to go out and tell everyone else I'm a person. And tell everyone I count as much as a penny. I wished I could tell you I was more plausible than the night. But you got stuck in the mirror labyrinth and came out with a totally new name. It's night mornings like this I wish I could travel in time just to slap my own ass when I was born. A poor thing. The poor thing. Okay. Long lines. Looked around your life and found no place to sit, so I've just been standing this whole time. And every time I look in like that, I see a different color room full of beautiful strangers who care less. Ever since those childhood cues for teepee and brown bread, I leave when I see long lines. With what relief I breathe the smog, tuck into an empty alley, holding suddenly giant church steps. I sit here and smoke. I like these giant church steps here too. So I'll just read you a few more. This is a funny poem. Trash Moon. All my life I had stage fright. Oh, wonder, terror of being called to the front to recite in a dialect, sing, ask, and answer questions on alchemical elements. Once in school during wartime, I was so drunk I just wrote H2O on the blackboard and sat down on the ground. And I so wanted to be part of a chorus, I injected vitamins. Still, when I go to the tryouts, I couldn't make a sound. Mom ran after me, crying all the way home. But the worst of all was once playing with friends, and you were there when I realized no matter how well I played and sang, it couldn't change a thing, so I couldn't sing. When you left, I sat on the curb, smoked one, then reached into my throat and pulled out the moon, threw it into the trash and walked away. So that was a true story, and my poor mom did try to get me into this choir, but it didn't work. That's okay. There are many ways to sing. And I'll read you two more. This is called Ampersand or and it's dedicated to Jared Snake. Who do I write to if you're long gone? When people say it's between myself and God, what if the God part is off? Someone turn God back on. The kind that makes me feel like it's the same if I write to you or them or to an old long piece of wood that lay by the stable. I know it's not supposed to be permanent, none of it and no one, so why did they make it so precious then? Are people destroying everything out of the need to take and keep everything? Yes. For me, I don't need much but the comfort of another world, the parallel universe where somehow it worked out and birds are singing. There is peace when you and I are an ampersand away, God's in the ampersand. But no one says our names together anymore. We wholly ghosted each other, and it's been a long time since I talked to God. They got too high and thought they were dying. Sent me a postcard from heaven saying I hate the sun and I miss Lucifer, the middle manager turned crook. He picked a better animal to hide in, the snake that still on some nights forms an ampersand and thinks of love. And finally, God is depressed. God was let go. God is on unemployment. God sits around in sweats and binge watches. Are you still watching? I'm always watching from the beginning of time. And I still see you, my child. I'm just too depressed to stop the world I made. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Anna. Thank you so much, Chia-Lun. What an incredible reading. Thank you so much, Morgan, for those really beautiful introductions. Thank you all for being here. I hope to see you at the project again soon. And we have copies of these books, so be sure to get them before you go. See you very soon. Thank you again. Good night.